What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to part 2 of super wide bodying my cheap salvage C6 Corvette. The theme of this episode is going to be wheel fitment. Now, as you guys saw, if you watched the first episode, these wheels are not wide enough, but at the same time they're too big because when you turn it, it touches that part. So to remedy that, I've bought some of these spacers. They're 2 inches up front and 3 inches in the back. Now, I know I'm gonna get some flack for that, but I gotta explain that this is not gonna be like a track car. It's not my everyday car. So I'm gonna wing it for now, but I'm gonna be on the lookout for some wider wheels. Unfortunately, we'd have to get around 13, 14 inches in the back and like 11 or 12 in the front. Now, 13 and 14 inch wheels are usually 3-piece wheels, and they run over $3,000, $4,000 before tires, and tires are super expensive because you got to run like 365s or something like that, which I don't want to do at this point. This is a budget build. These wheels we got for $700-ish, which is a steal. They came with pretty much brand new tires, and they're actually a pretty good brand. So we're gonna stick with them for now and try to install these spacers and see if that helps our turning issue. If it doesn't, then we're gonna start looking into lower profile tires up front. So I'll take you guys along with that. And then if that doesn't help, like I said, we're gonna have to figure out something over here and make a new kind of like a headlight tray. Custom make it, do some fab work. I'm not very experienced with that, but I'm gonna learn and it should be fun. Stay tuned. The first thing that I want to do here is let's take off this wheel right here, install the spacer, and test our fitment. I think that's more like it. When you lower this bed down, usually lowers about another inch after like an hour or when you drive it around. So that's why the gap is so huge right now. That's gonna go down, but I think we nailed it with the 2 inches. The wheel kind of bounces in this way just to be fine, but we're gonna test drive it just in case. But yeah, we pretty much went on this side from, this is a 20 millimeter to a 2 inch, which is about 50 millimeters. So a 30 millimeter increase. And let me show you the difference. So that's this side, and this is without a spacer. Looks ridiculous, right? Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on the car and try to move this wheel all the way to the right and see what happens. Not great. So it's definitely still touching. This tray kind of got broken in the accident. It's supposed to be glued on, but really it's supposed to be up like this. Which still only gives us like an inch of clearance. So if you're taking a full lock turn, you hit a bump, you're probably gonna break your headlight. So yeah, that answers the question of getting rid of these tires. Definitely gonna go probably like 265, 30. I'm gonna call around some shops and maybe find a good deal on those. So now let's turn the wheel to the other side and see what happens. So it definitely still touches on this side. It kind of touches this spot right here and this spot right here, which we could cut away. And with the lower profile tires, that should be better. I was kind of expecting this because when you move out the wheel, you widen the scrub radius. At least we got our fitment. As far as how wide we want to go, the wheel is actually perfectly flush with the fender. So I think we're good there. It's actually wider than the back now. Next thing I want to do is I want to throw on the 3-inch spacers on the rear and see what that looks like. I'm not too worried about the rear because, like I said, we got plenty of fender room here, and yeah, it should be fine. Obviously this wheel doesn't turn, so we should be okay there. Let's do it. One important thing to do with spacers is actually to torque them down correctly. to your stock wheel spec torque. Mine is 100 foot-pounds, so I'm going to use this torque wrench and torque this down correctly. Okay, let's see. It's already looking better. Let's lower down the car and see what it looks like. Okay guys, here's the result. Front wheel looks flush, gives a little bit of a tire, but if it bounces it should go inside. And then the rear, oh my gosh. So this is where the door ends and this is where the wheel is. I think 3 inches might have been overkill. From the looks of it, that fender has just as much width as that fender. So 2 inches there is perfect. And 3 inches here, it's a bit too much. But yeah, this is where we're at right now. I'm gonna start measuring here and looking into maybe getting either a 2.5 inch spacer or a 2 here. And then I'm gonna be looking into smaller tires for the front, that's for sure. I gotta run it through some tire calculators and see kind of the measurements of how many inches the tire is gonna get smaller based on the tire sizes. There's some good tools out there for it. But either way, I'm good for today. Let's go order some new tires. All right guys, so actually off camera, I was thinking about it and I still have the 2 inch spacer that was supposed to go on that side. I threw it on the back and I think that's some good fitment actually. If you look straight from the top, you see a little bit of tire. Now when the wheel's gonna balance, is gonna obviously retract into itself a little bit. I might add a little bit more camber there. And yeah, I think 2 inches all around is the correct fitment for this car. We could always go wider, but for now, just keeping it safe. Here's the view from the back. So I think that's just good enough. So I already ordered another pair of 2 inch spacers. I'll catch you guys once I get the new tires. And not even 24 hours later, we have our tires. Shout out to my brother, by the way. He came and picked them up for me this morning, went to a tire shop an hour away because he was going there anyway, and got these mounted for me, balanced, and I already have them installed. And as you guys can see, unfortunately, these are a bit too stretched. It's what we have to do at this point, but that's what happens when you go from 285s to 265s. On a 10.5 inch wide wheel. It's still safe to drive. It's not my favorite look for a wheel, but you know, it's either this or we scrap the whole body kit thing. So I'm overall pretty happy with it. I already did a test, and so this is going to be sitting like this, and this wheel, when fully locked to the left, it clears it by about 1.5 inches, maybe 2, which is good news. It might still rub, and we might figure that out on our test run pass once we have everything installed fully. But you know, I'm not gonna start cutting anything now, you know, until I absolutely know that I have to do it. Aside from that, obviously the fitment isn't great. We got about 4 fingers, kind of in between this wheel and about 4 here. So I'm actually gonna order some lowering bolts for this car. They're only about 70 bucks, and we're gonna install them probably early next week as soon as they come in. And then meanwhile, I think I'm gonna start actually handing these panels off to a shop. Now, I know a lot of some, you know, really good, you know, car guys do their own paint, like Goon Squad, but I have little to no experience with doing paint, especially kind of like finished big panels. I'd rather have the professionals handle this part for me. So we're gonna drop these off probably in 2 days once the shops open up. It's kind of tough right now because it's the holiday season. And we're gonna get these painted and start installing them for the final time. So this project is actually moving a lot faster than I thought, and I'm super happy about that. So yeah, guys, stay tuned. I'm not sure what's next, but you'll probably see in the next clip. All right, figured out the next thing I'm gonna do. These fender gaps are really bothering me. So what I'm gonna do is, even though the suspension isn't fully settled in, and usually after you drive it for a couple miles, it drops another inch, but that is way too much inches in between. I'm going to fully remove the lowering springs right now, and not lowering springs, but the lowering bolts, and just let the car sit overnight and see what kind of a difference we get. Hopefully that's going to be enough. Let's do it. time to bring out the big guns. Okay, front wheel done. I'm actually loving the way it looks. Like as I said a billion times, but basically this wheel has to settle in still, just kind of how the Corvette suspension is set up. So we're gonna leave it overnight, but I think it won't fully settle until we actually take it for a spin. But either way, looks pretty crazy. This is pretty much where the wheel used to end, maybe like right there. That's where it is now. Wide body, baby. Okay, fingers crossed that one is gonna go a lot easier. Let's give this a shot. Well, at least this one was easier. We got to like the last millimeter, but then there was not enough suspension travel to actually take it out. So I had to split it in half and then unscrew it from there. That said, that was a lot easier. Wish we had that grinder earlier. I should probably buy one because I'm borrowing this janky one from my dad, but oh well. Number 2 done. That took about 20 minutes, maybe less. I think I'm gonna leave it here. I think tomorrow's Christmas. The day after Christmas, we should get our spacers and we're gonna be putting them on that side. So I'm gonna have the wheels off and working on that side. That's when I'm gonna do the rest of removing of the lowering bolts. For now, we're gonna install this wheel and not yet call it a night actually. There's something that my cousin Anton was over and he pointed out something to me that I feel so dumb for not noticing. But basically, this side has a fuel door, right? It's right there. This panel does not have a cutout for a fuel door. So I put up the original fuel door, which was supposed to be right here, and it's shaped like this and ends all the way right here. Unfortunately, we can't cut all this because there's a huge kind of, this is where the flare starts, and it's gonna look really awkward. So what I did was I modified my OEM fuel door to fit. I might have to cut it off a little bit more, but to fit exactly right here, and that should work. But I'm debating whether or not I should actually cut it out on the actual panel. On the 26th, I will be taking these panels to the body shop for paint, and I might just ask them, and you know, how much do you charge to actually do a really good cut on it. Last thing I want to do is, you know, mess it up and make it look janky. I'm gonna ask them for a price to install this door, or at least make a cutout for it. If it's too much, we're gonna do it ourselves, but if not, we'll let the pros handle that. Yeah, let's install this wheel back up, and we're done for the night. See you guys after Christmas. Merry Christmas, by the way. Alrighty, holidays are over, our spacers came in, and it's time to finish up the other side, and then hopefully we could take it down on our first kind of shakedown run. Let's go. We're gonna start by removing the rear wheel, cutting off our lowering bolt, putting some rubber there, installing new spacers, and then reinstalling the wheel, and then same thing up front. Okay, rear end is done. Finally, this side looks nice and wide. Matches this side. We're actually gonna pull off these soon before we go on a test drive. And one more wheel left. Let's go do the fronts. All right, car's all buttoned up. Off camera, got this thing all out of the way, zip tied it. I put these metal brackets on to hold the rear bumper because the wind is going to be hitting it here. I don't want it to get torn off. Actually, I might put another screw right here just so it doesn't come off. And then up front, installed the headlight back up. Kind of lifted this panel because it got unglued. Put a screw through it just so we have, you know, clearance right here for a drive, because that's how it's going to be once we're done. And thinking about pulling off the hood just for a cool look, but that might be for a little later. But right now it is time to finally go paint the panels while we still have time. So we're gonna load these up into the Pilot and head over to the paint shop. And hopefully they're not gonna charge us an arm and a leg, but we'll see. Okay, dropped off the panels. Actually, not a bad price at all. It was kind of what I was expecting and hoping for. And they've done good work for my Mustang before, so better trim down that volume before I got demonetized. But yeah, time to drive back home and then drive the Corvette. Hopefully we don't die, but yeah, enjoy the next video. Guys, moment of truth. Gonna take this thing out for its first spin and get this stuff out the way. The wheels are so wide right now that I don't even know if you can pull out this garage safely anymore. Start her up. Shoot. Yeah, if you can see, that wheel is barely getting out of here. Phew. Okay, time for a ride. I got a good amount this time using the tripod on the dash. Hopefully the GoPro won't fly away. Hopefully our wheels don't fall. Phew, I am nervous, man. So far, this is the sketchiest way I've ever driven my car. So far, so good. I hear the tape smacking that was left over on the tires, but other than that it seems okay. So I actually had to turn around 3 times and fully lock the wheel in both directions. That side is not rubbing at all because I picked up the headlight tray by 1 inch. That side's rubbing a little bit, but you know, only when you're just fully locked, like the last maybe inch of the lock. I could live with that. I rarely pull U-turns, but you know, if it gets too annoying, I'll cut away with it. But so far I'm really impressed. Off camera I popped a little drift. Rear wheel stayed on, so I think we're good. One more thing I wanted to test is there are some speed bumps here, and I want to see what the car performs like on speed bumps. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like. Ready? All right, there's a huge bump over here. Kind of scared to go over it, but we're gonna see if we scrub right now. Let's see, really slow. No scrub so far. No scrub so far. I think we're about to scrub the headers. I think we're good on that. Right now I'm doing another U-turn, no scrubbing, and the car has already lowered itself, you know, kind of settled in the suspension by now. One major issue though is it's because we don't have any fenders. It's kicking up rocks like crazy because the wheels come out like 6 inches past the car, and you know, any kind of gravel that it takes, it's going to kick up. So yeah, now same bump, but we're going downwards. It's kind of an uneven road here. Let's see if we scrub. No scrubbing, no scrubbing. A little bit of the headers that happened before too. No scrubbing, nice. Let's go, man. This looks... I could feel the stance of the car being so much wider but the tape on those tires is sketching me out. So some lady right here, get her reaction. Okay, let's get this thing home. I think that's enough of a shakedown actually for us to, safely install these tires and safely install the fenders back on and not really be worried about breaking anything. There's no cars there. Here she is, guys. This is how she's going to be driving for the next week or so until she's done. Definitely a head turner. Got a bunch of smiles, laughs, thumbs up, and some judging eyes as well. But oh well. If it's not raining or snowing, I'm definitely going to be taking this car out the next couple of days. Maybe get an alignment just to finish up the suspension. I'm really glad how it's driving. I lowered this headlight back down. It looked kind of funky. If you guys noticed in the videos, I actually kind of screwed it up higher. I wanted to see if we could get more clearance there if I mess around with this tray right here. That's currently broken. But yeah, this is what she looks like right now. Pretty insane, and I'm pretty dang excited. This project's finally nearing or closing to the end. I could see the finish line and I'm really excited. That said, guys, stay tuned for the complete build process and to see how this car is going to turn out. Thank you for watching. Peace.